Hey everyone. Okay, so I have not done a video pretty much all of June. I don't know why, but I think just time and work and oh my god has gotten in the way and everything. Life as we know it pretty much has gotten in the way. However, I am here to do a new video. I want to just touch up on a few things because a lot of weather has been happening over the past just week or so. I am going to do the July outlook for the country. I am also going to do the rainy pattern that has been setting up in the eastern part of the country and the cool conditions in the Midwest and the heat wave in the west and northwest. But first of all, I would like to start off with what July is going to bring for our country. And it's going to be a bit different than what June was. June was kind of just an interesting pattern of kind of a mixed bag of things. But relatively, June was kind of like on average, on par, sort of say, with temperatures. However, a lot of precipitation did happen on the East Coast in June. July is going to be a little bit different. July, we are going to have a bit cooler conditions prevail for the southeast in terms of temperatures, and pretty much the rest of the country we're going to have about average to a bit slightly above average temperatures. And then especially here in the west, the heat wave is going to subside just for a little bit. We are going to expect temperatures, however, to be well above average for the month of July, pretty much anywhere west of the continental divide and everything. Now, as precipitation goes, the west is going to stay relatively dry, really no big storms coming along shore, and the Four Corners region is pretty much just dry as can be and just baked and everything. Unfortunately, that kind of worsens the drought out there. However, July is not going to really bring any relief for, the desert southwest in terms of denting any of the drought and everything. Pretty much average to slightly above average rainfall expected in the Midwest, especially in the upper Midwest and going over to the Great Lakes. Expect about average precipitation again around the southeast, and then slightly above average precipitation for the northeast and everything. So kind of just a hit and miss on kind of precipitation, either above or below average depending on where you live for July and everything. So that's pretty much the overview of July. Just again, only slightly cooler conditions along the pretty much southeastern coast, but everywhere else is going to be a bit warm, and then pockets of below and above average rainfall depending on where you live. So that's the July outlook I wanted to do. Now, let's switch gears and let's go into the west with the big heat wave that has pretty much just been inundating the entire region. So pretty much we just had a very strong high ridge of pressure build along our across the western states and everything, and that pretty much keeps the jet stream well off to the north, even into Canada. So places in like southern Canada and everything are expected to see like 80s and even 90s, or they have been for the past like week or so, and even places in like Washington and Oregon where you wouldn't really expect to see a lot of hot and humid conditions. Even Seattle and Portland have been in the 80s and 90s. And a couple more days, I think, of that hot weather. It's actually kind of building a little bit more north into Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. So if you live in those areas, over the next couple of days, expect to see hot conditions in the 90s and even triple-digit readings in the valleys of the mountains and everything. But pretty much we've had just a huge area of high pressure, and obviously it just makes the atmosphere warm up a lot quicker and everything, and we just get temperatures in the hundreds, 110s, and even 120s. Death Valley has hit 128 degrees. That's just a few degrees shy of its all-time record high. So it's extremely hot out in the west and everything. Over the next couple days, it is supposed to subside just a little bit, but I mean, Phoenix, when you're talking about, oh, you're in, the 110s, and you go down to like 108. Wow. So, yeah, you're going to be slightly cooler than, when you were just, a couple days ago. Even Las Vegas has been close to their all-time record high of 117. The other day it hit 116 and 115 a couple days before that. So extremely hot conditions in the west and everything. So if you want the heat, go ahead and go to the mountains and the coastal regions as well and everything, kind of keeping on the warm side. However, LA and San Francisco and San Diego stay relatively in the 70s, but once you move like 50 miles just east away from the coast and everything, boom, you're like in 90 and 100 degree weather and stuff. Even Sacramento California, hitting like the low 100s here and there for the past like week and everything. So just extremely hot conditions in the west. Then you have the hot side. You have a dip in jet stream, a little just dip pretty much coming along the Ohio River Valley. So areas from like Chicago to St. Louis to Cleveland been staying on the relatively cooler side and a bit wetter side than average for the past week or so, 10 to 15 degrees below average. However, that drift is supposed to, that trough is supposed to just head up to the north and everything, and warmer air is expected for those areas coming into the later of this week by the end of the holiday week and going into the weekend. 70s and 80s are going to be popping back into the picture for those places. Pretty much the rest of the Midwest and everything, just kind of average, you know, just typical summer heat and everything happening in the Midwest. Nothing really too big to talk about. But the other big story that I want to talk about is the just deluge of rain that's been happening along the East Coast. I mean, DC, come on. I mean, we've been at it for like 2 weeks now. Just every day, just rain, 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 rain. There was even one day where it rained like, I think 8 or 9 times. I mean, it's ridiculous and everything. The reason for that being is because the Bermuda High, which is situated off the Atlantic coast, pumps in pretty much moisture from the Atlantic and the Gulf Coast sides. And then once you have a kind of a low area of pressure situated on the western side of that Bermuda High, it just pumps up that moisture in kind of a narrow streak. And that's why we've been getting thunderstorms and showers all across the I-95 corridor and everything. That is expected to continue for the next several days. Places even in Florida expect like 5 to 8 inches of additional rain, you know, for the rest of the week and everything. About 2 to 3 inches for the rest of the southeast, going into the mid-Atlantic, and then 1 to 2 inches with locally spots going up to 4 inches in isolated areas in the northeast and everything. However, unfortunately, the stormy pattern is going to be continuing for the week and everything. However, 4th of July for the northeast, from places from Boston and even now down toward DC, we are expected to see dry conditions. However, it is going to be hot and humid. Boston is supposed to be in the low 90s on 4th of July. DC right around average 88 degrees, but still stuck in the rain and the thunderstorms and just humidity down in the south, like Atlanta, Georgia. You'll be near, you know, 90 degrees on Thursday for 4th of July. Just you'll have a very, very, very good chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms, so that may dampen 4th of July fireworks if you live in the southeast states and everything. For the rest of the country for 4th of July, really the only concern is the eastern and southeastern parts of the country for pretty much rain showers and thunderstorms for dampening down any festivities going along in those places. But the rest of the country really not seeing a whole lot. There might just be a few hit and miss thunderstorms in the southern plains and everything, but the Pacific Northwest and West, forget it, you're going to be fine. However, with the hot and dry conditions, that may not also be a good thing to set off fireworks, because obviously that can spark fires real quickly, so be mindful of that and everything. But Great Lakes, you should be fine, maybe a shower or two, and then the Northeast, like I just mentioned, sunny yet humid for your 4th of July and going into the weekend. So that is my video for today, and I will be back again, hopefully not in a month, but in a week or so to do another one. Until next time, remember to keep your eye to the sky.